everybody. So today we're going to be reading a book together. We're going to be reading Owl Moon, and then we're going to be talking about some figurative language that we see in the book. So this is a picture book, and it does tell a story, so we know that that is probably going to be fiction, but you guys will see that it's also written kind of like a poem. So you guys have a copy of this on Schoology that you'll be able to look at later, but you guys can see that it's written in short lines, kind of like stanzas. So as we read, we're going to talk about some figurative language that we see. So figurative language is a phrase that does not mean what it actually says. All right, and we're going to be looking at 5 different kinds today. The first we're going to look at is imagery. So imagery uses the 5 senses, so how it looks, how it sounds, smells, feels, tastes, those things to describe what might be going on in the story. The simile is when we're comparing 2 things and we use the word like or as. Metaphor is when we compare 2 things but we do not use the words like or as. Personification is when we describe something that's not a person doing something only people can do, like the trees dancing in the wind. We know that trees can't dance, so that is personification. And then finally, hyperbole, that's when we exaggerate. So it's about lunchtime right now, and I feel like I could probably eat a horse. I'm so hungry. You guys know that I could never eat a whole horse, but I'm exaggerating, so that is a hyperbole. So today, we're going to read through this, and I'm going to stop and talk about a few examples, and we'll put those examples up here, and then you guys will try to tackle the rest on your own. All right, so you guys got this. All right, so we're going to read Owl Moon together. This is by Jane Yolen. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind, the trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. All right, so the first example that I saw on this page was the trees stood still as giant statues. So in this sentence, they are comparing the trees to giant statues, and they're using the word as. So that is a simile. So I'm going to stick that sticky note right here. So the trees stood still as giant statues. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulling down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time. And when their voices faded away, it was quiet as a dream. We walked on towards the woods, Pa and I. All right, now on this page, there's another example. It says, they sang out, trains and dogs. So they is talking about trains and dogs. Do you guys think trains and dogs can sing, or is that something only people can do? So that is personification, because we know that trains and dogs don't sing. That's something that people do. So I underlined the word sang here to help me realize that that is personification. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I had been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. All right, so the first sentence on this page says our feet crunched over the crisp snow. So crunched is a sound, so that's one of the 5 senses. So they're describing what's happening by letting us know what it sounds like. So that is imagery. It's kind of putting a nice little picture in our head because I can kind of close my eyes and I can hear the snow crunching under their shoes. All right, let's see if we can find some more examples. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, hoo, hoo, the sound of a great horned owl. All right, so on this page, I don't have this one marked, but it says, we reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky. That kind of tells us what they see, so that's another example of imagery. And then later on, it says that he looked up as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. So she's describing how he's looking up to reading a map. So that's another example of a simile because they're using the word as there. Again, he called out, and then again, after each call, he he was silent, and for a moment we both listened, but there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said sometimes there's an owl, and sometimes there isn't. We walked on. I could feel the cold, as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. All right, so here she says that the shadows were the blackest things that she had ever seen. Do you guys think maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration? Do you think the trees of the shadows could be the blackest thing you've ever seen? I think maybe if you saw like a t-shirt that was the color black, it might be a little bit darker. So the shadows were the blackest thing I'd ever seen. That's a hyperbole. She's exaggerating about what it looks like to really tell us the shadows were very dark and probably a little scary at night. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. So here the author is describing snow to milk in a cereal bowl, but she does not use the word like or the word as, so that is a metaphor. So they're saying that the snow was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl, but we're not using the word like or as there. So we're comparing two things, so that is a metaphor. All right, so you guys are going to finish reading this book on your own. I've uploaded a copy of it for you, and these examples are underlined there along with some ones that I want you guys to try to identify. The definitions for all 5 kinds of figurative language are at the top of your paper, so you guys can look back and forth. You can have a friend help you, or if you want to chat with a friend, maybe you guys could help each other on this one. I just want you to do your very best. So just take notes, and then you can upload your answers into the assignment. If you guys have any questions, please send me a quick message and I'll be happy to help. Bye.